So, sustainable, good business, though.
Yes, good morning. It's great to be talking to you. Look, I think as this crisis continues to unfold, there will be pockets of a fair amount of activity like you saw in the last week. And I do think, though, that at various times, depending on how the virus progresses, there will be volatility in the market where it will slow down and then it will pick back up again.
So how are you arriving at these opportunities? And, of course, capital raising is going to be absolutely key here as people decide, like Li and Feng were reportedly looking to take themselves private and take advantage of the low price of their stock. So how many more of those sort of deals are you looking at?
So, look, what's very important is we're engaging with the senior leaderships of our client group on a daily basis. And it really depends client by client and industry by industry. But what you will see is that a large number of corporates are thinking carefully about the length of this particular crisis and are planning in how they will set up their balance sheets for it and will raise capital if it's appropriate to them. And we're very honored to be helping a fair number of them come to the market. So just in the last week, we helped Petronas, Yageo, Lenovo, amongst others, to raise capital, and we will continue to do that and are actually very excited to be talking to our clients and being important and helpful to them. The one thing to remember is we are not purely an investment bank. We're also an operational bank with a world-class corporate bank, and we are helping our clients on a daily basis transact, and that's really important. We have a world-leading corporate bank that's been helping clients work from home and work remotely, and in many cases helping them do things digitally, which is more important than ever before, because right now, as you can imagine, it's hard to get a wet signature on a check. And so being on a Citi system and being able to do it electronically is something that we're excited to be helping our clients do.
John, speaking of working electronically, you recently led a virtual initial public offering, a virtual roadshow. So what are some of the challenges to conducting your business virtually? And do you expect this trend to continue even after this pandemic subsides?
It's a great question, actually. It's something I'm kind of passionate about, because one thing which is interesting, as opposed to being just challenging, it actually made the roadshows better, and we've done a number of these now. And let me just briefly explain why I'm saying that. Is we're able to take a management team, have them in a large enough conference room so they can have social distancing in that conference room, and then be doing video call after video call, including some conference calls if the investor client is not interested in the video. But as opposed to running around the world, you can be more efficient. It's less taxing on the bodies of the management team. I believe we did something like 30% more calls as a result. And then what is interesting is that you're able to use that increased efficiency and calmness to really bring the story of the client out better. So one prediction I do have is something that you were hinting at, is that when the COVID crisis is hopefully over, I do think we will see more virtual roadshows even when they're not necessary.
And John, I just want to quickly mark the yuan fix coming in at 7.0752 to the dollar. So this is pretty much in line, ever so slightly, a touch weaker than those expectations. This is after we saw the fix come in stronger yesterday. Also some headlines, the PBOC is going to be conducting 5 billion yuan of auction of central bank bill swaps. So this swap tool was first used in 2019 in February to encourage financial institutions to issue these perpetual bonds to boost their capital. So really the story here is that China is upping its efforts noticeably compared to mid-March when it comes to ensuring liquidity.
Yeah, so one thing which is interesting to see and good to see is that the world is pulling together to fight this virus. Many governments are doing good things to support the economies and hence support the world. And I'm hopeful that humanity actually continues to pull together to try to beat this thing. It's been very heartening to see many great and touching client testimonials about our bankers working together with them and clients working together. And I was actually in an M&A discussion a week ago, which was a little bit contentious, and I was expecting the two companies to get on the virtual meeting room and yell at each other, but they actually started the meeting talking about the challenges of schooling their children from home, checking each other that they're safe. So the tone is actually a very human and constructive tone I'm noticing, and that's a very great thing to see.
And John, we also reported several months ago that Citigroup was going to be ending its JV in China. They were going to take the approach of setting a wholly owned securities business. What can you tell us about how that process is going, if COVID has impacted it at all?
Yeah, so COVID, we are continuing to operate well in our environment. In China, which is a country where we've been continuously since 1904, and we've doubled our revenue in the last 10 years or so, we're incredibly excited about that market. We continue to explore various options. And what's been interesting is, in this environment, we've also continued to help and raise financing for Chinese clients. A great example, actually, is we did a $650 million bond for Lenovo last week, and it was great to see that bond happen on Friday last week. We also helped with a big China gas block, so remain very active around China.
Jan, just very quickly, we had Virgin Australia going into administration. They are saying at the moment, the administrator, that they're going to sell the complete business, and indeed all off the back of the Australian government not really giving the 200 million Aussie dollars in aid that they wanted. But it does reflect weakness in many parts of the economy. Very quickly, Jan, does this throw up a lot of opportunities for M&A for you? And indeed, are you already seeing that? Quickly.
Yeah, so quickly, M&A. We're seeing two big trends in M&A. One is something you hinted at, which is consolidation. We're seeing companies that were resisting consolidation now more open to it because scale can help. And secondly, and this is interesting to me, is tech disruption will actually be accelerated by the virus. And one of the things we're seeing is having corporates that were shying away from acquiring tech, actually looking at it aggressively because they realize they need to accelerate, and we are really honored to be helping our clients navigate these.